Welcome to Live Well Long, where we deliver life-enhancing, empowering messages for body, mind, and spirit to those seeking to get the most out of life, who have a zest for learning and know that learning must be an ongoing activity to achieve a vibrant, thriving life. This is your host, Alexandra Van Horn. Stay tuned for another episode of Live Well Long. Hey everyone, this is Alexandra Van Horn with Live Well Long, where we discuss all things that can help people live well longer. And today's guest, I'm thrilled to have, she is a legend. Listen closely. She's an award-winning, internationally acclaimed speaker, workshop, and seminar leader, New York Times best-selling author before the internet, a fitness expert, body-mind pioneer, hypnotherapist, success and empowerment coach, TV host on NBC and Nichelodeon, creator of the Inner Mind Certification Program, book publisher, and host on WBAI-FM Radio in New York. With over 50 years as a serial entrepreneur and having owned and operated 9 businesses, published 11 books, and done 18 media tours, Suzy's current specialty is publishing small books that make a big difference. So this is Suzy Prudden. Itty Bitty Publishing publishes books by experts. These books, 30 pages long, give the reader exactly what they want and need on their topic of their choice with no fluff. She has shared the stage with Tony Robbins, Deepak Chropa, Reverend Michael Beckwith, Louise L, Wayne Dyer, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, Reverend Mary Morrisey, Dr. John DiMartini, and so many more. You've seen Suzy on Oprah, Good Morning America, and the Today Show. And the New York Times says if Suzy is talking about it today, the rest of the country will be talking about it tomorrow. So let's give a warm welcome to Suzy Prudden.
I'm exhausted.
Oh, I loved reading your bio when I saw it. I was like, wow, I love this.
and you had no idea we just like each other.
Exactly.
And you're doing and you're in an itty bitty book.
And I'm in an itty bitty book that'll be
Yes,
coming
you
out
are.
in a few months. Yes, exciting. Very cool, very cool. So let's talk about why did you start a publishing company?
It was an accident.
Oh, I love it.
It was a serious accident. So my sister and I should have had this set up, but I didn't even think of it till just now. My sister and I were attending a seminar in Las Vegas in 2006 with James Malinchak. And he said, now I've written 11 books, and they're big books that with big houses in New York and San Francisco. And so James was talking about, you need to write a little book. I've never written a little book. So I thought, okay, so write a little book. So at that time, I was running a weight loss center at 4 offices in Los Angeles. And because I'm a hypnotherapist, we specialized helping people lose weight through hypnosis, and it worked. And as long as you continued to do the program, it worked. And so I thought, okay, so I'll write a book, Suzy Prudden's, because my name's been on everything since the 60s, right. Suzy Prudden's Itty Bitty Weight Loss book. When driving home with my sister, and I told her the topic, and she said, oh, that's good. Okay. So I went back to running the business, and she wrote the book. Right. And we did not know what we were doing, and this is the book.
Oh, I love it.
So it says Suzy Prudden's Itty Bitty Weight Loss book. And we bought the 2,000 obligatory copies that you had to do in 2006.
Right.
I think we had 1,800 left. This is 2023. And we didn't know what we were doing. Right. So fast forward 2014, and my sister had learned the publishing business by writing, what was she writing? Oh my God, it was so funny. She was writing little smut stories, and she learned how to do the back end. Now my sister's 4 years, I'm 79, I'll be 80 this year. My sister's going to be 85, so she's 4 years older than me. Okay. So here's this old woman writing smut, having a wonderful time. I said, the only boring part about this, Suzy, is the sex. Everything else is fun, because she built wonderful characters. Anyway, she learned how to do the back end of publishing. So it's 2014. I asked her, could you change the cover of the book because it's not working? And so she did. And I said, make it smaller. I wonder if I have a copy, but it would be really smart if I did. I do. So she made it smaller. And it was Christmas, and she came to visit me. And we were spending the holiday together, and we're She said, I have the book. I said, okay, let me see it. So she showed me the book. And you'll see that it doesn't have my name at the top.
Oh, right, right.
Now, my name's been on everything since 1965. TV, whatever I've done, videos.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking,
What's my name?
you took the name off, my name off. Is that okay? She said, I don't care. I said, And I'm looking at it. I said, well, actually, that's $1 million business. And we don't have to write all the books. Because before that, we were writing all the books. And we were in business literally 3 days later. We had our first signed author 2 weeks later. We had our first published book 6 weeks later. And it's been absolutely pedal to the metal since 2015 when we started this company. And the beauty of it, the absolute beauty of it was I can't do what my sister does. She can't do what I do. And so the two of us were perfect partners for the business.
Yeah.
That's how the company started. And she's now retired and cheering me from the sides. But the company is absolutely, it's exciting because we give people an opportunity to shine.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's so good. That's so good. And you know how to bring that out in people. You know how to just draw it out. You have a great way of being that does that.
Well, I've been doing this one way or another, not necessarily, not in publishing before, but because I'm a hypnotherapist and I've been a coach since 1986. And I've been doing the work. And the people that I keep company with, we're all doing the work. And so it's natural.
Right.
And thank you. I do bring it out. And that's what's exciting.
Yeah. 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 Sure. Sure. It's like excavating treasure, right?
Well, the most important thing when you're working with somebody is to listen.
Right.
You don't want to tell them what to do. You want to hear what they want to do and then maneuver it so that they get to do what they really want to do. Sometimes people don't know.
Right.
And because I'm a visionary, I can see. And very often I'll be talking to someone and they'll be telling me what they do. I said, do you have a certification program? And they'll, well, no, I don't think that, they all, I said, well, wait a second. You are unique and what you do is unique. Could you teach other people to do what you do? Yes, but I'm just, no, you're not. You're not a just. You're a big deal. No matter what, you're a big deal. What people forget is that it's like no one can do. So for you, Alexandra, no one can do what you do. Yes, you have tools.
Right.
And you've studied and learned and grown your company, grown your practice. But nobody does it the way you do it.
Right. True.
And there are people who can't resonate with other coaches, but they hear you and it's like
right.
and then they work with you.
Resonate. Right. They resonate.
Yeah. And that's what I see. I tell people every single person can be a Pilates in their industry. Pilates started as one man. He had an injury. He was a dancer. He had an injury. And he created a series of exercises that helped heal his own injury.
Oh, wow.
That's the Pilates exercises that we're doing today. That was in the 1940s. That was one man whose program is in every spa, every gym. It's worldwide.
Right.
There are standalone Pilates studios, and then there are Pilates instructors that work in spas. One man, all he did was what he knew to do.
Right.
Everybody has that ability.
Yeah.
And that's what I get to do.
I love it.
Help them see it.
Help them see it, help bring it out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So what do you think is the most important thing people should know about writing a book?
The book is the beginning. It's just the beginning. And it never dies.
Mm.
You know, it may sit on the shelf for 30 years. I have a book that is being brought back right now that I wrote in the 70s. And let me show you. It's so cool. It is so, so cool. I was talking to a woman that I'm working with. She's an itty bitty author. And she works creating programs for babies.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, do you have a massage program? And she said, well, no, not yet. Massage for babies. And I said, well, I wrote a book in 1983, and it has a whole section on baby massage.
I love it.
This is a book that was written in 1983. How many? It's 40 years ago.
Yeah, that's the year my first son was born. Yep, I might have had that book.
You might have, yeah. It's a beautiful book. But what's happening, which is so exciting, is that was 40 years ago, and I'm bringing it back now. But more importantly, your book is the beginning. It's not, people say to me when they become an itty bitty author or a legacy press author, they say, how quickly will I make back my money? And I said, selling books, you probably won't, but it's what that book does for you. So you're in the WPN Experts Volume 2 book.
Right.
And so what that means is that chapter that you're doing for that book, you can get interviews in newspapers, magazines, TV, podcasts, just because you have a chapter in that book.
Right.
And so what I tell people is you have to be the legs for your book.
Right.
Your book can't do it alone.
Not going to jump off the shelf or out of Amazon.
Exactly. It's like, read me.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen. So a lot of people don't want to do that work.
Right.
And then it doesn't work. And then they get upset. Why isn't my book selling? Because you're not selling it.
Right.
I wish I knew, this is the common thought, I wish I knew in the 70s when I started writing books what I know now. Hello.
Right. Yeah.
I sold my first book at a cocktail party in East Hampton, Long Island. And the person didn't actually buy the book, but she bought my name. I'm the daughter of Bonnie Prudden, who's the nation's foremost fitness authority. I had a program in New York on fitness. When I presented it to the editor that I was talking to at this party, and I told her about what I wanted to do, I know she didn't care about what I wanted to do, but she heard the name Prudden.
Right.
And the name Prudden would make money. Right. And so this is fun. And I hope everybody pays attention to what I'm about to say right now. So she said, do you have an outline? And I said, yes. And she said, I'll pick it up Monday morning on my way back to New York City from their house in the Hamptons.
Nice.
So I wrote it over the weekend. You know, as Nancy says, yes, ready. So you have to say yes, always. They called me Thursday and they said, we want to buy your book. So I called the William Morris agency, talent agency in New York. I said, hi, this is Suzy Prudden. And I just sold a book to William Morrow. I need an agent. And they assigned an agent to me. And she negotiated the contract. And that's how that particular part of my career began. It's really about, for me, it's taking advantage of every opportunity that comes.
Yeah.
So when I say I wish I had known, because what's the most important thing about a book is that you have to really be the legs. You have to look for opportunities. You have to seek out interviews, seek out podcasts, really put yourself out in front. And people say, well, why me? Why not? You know, the media, and this is important, the media needs you. They've got to fill hours. They've got to fill pages. They're looking for stories. True. You know, when I look at some of the stories in the news, I said, that's a story? Right? But if you've got a book, you're a story immediately. You're an expert immediately. Puts you in front of the crowd immediately. And if you're in business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a coach, if you're a health coach, if you're a success coach, I mean, we've got people who are bookkeepers. I mean, as a bookkeeper, you want to be known because there's a lot of bookkeepers. When you have a book, you're automatically known. But you have to tell people.
Right. You have to get it out there.
You have to get it out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just got I just had a phone call with an author of mine, and she told me of an opportunity that just I can't divulge it because it's too huge. But she just told me of an opportunity that came because she was interviewed by me on my author's call on a Tuesday night. She said the person saw the interview and said, I want to talk to you about being on my show.
Nice.
That's what happens when you have a book.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. That's great. I love the serendipity of it. It's got a life of its own, and you just carry it around.
Well, yeah. And this was wonderful. This happened last week. One of my authors went to support someone who was having a book signing in a bookstore in Long Beach. Mm-hmm. And she called me. She's so cute. She said, I did what you told me, Suzy. I had copies of my book with me. So she went to the owner of the bookstore and she said her name, and I published a book with Itty Bitty Publishing, and I would love to have you carry my book. And he said, well, not only will I carry your book, but why don't you do a book signing on May? And I can't remember, the day before Mother's Day. So she is doing a book signing in May. He's going to carry her books. And then he said, I'd like to talk to Suzy because we're opening up another bookstore in Westchester. And we want to, talk to her about having itty bitty books in the bookstore.
Nice.
Which means itty bitty books, itty bitty authors.
Right.
And so we've got, that's just two little communities. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal.
Right. Especially now with everything being online. It's great. It's huge. It's wonderful to have that.
Yeah. And even Barnes and Noble, they do programs. To Barnes and Noble, and you say, here's my book. I would like to do a book signing and I'd like to do a class on whatever it is in the book. Yeah. That benefits them.
That's great.
And it benefits you.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. I love that idea. I'm looking forward. I have a book I wrote in 2008 before I knew you. And it does have a life of its own. I haven't been doing much with it lately, but starting to, and
it's just listening for the opportunity.
Yeah.
And being bold enough to step forward.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Wow. So do you have a favorite client? I heard tell that you have a favorite client.
I probably mentioned that to you, and now I can't remember. What's fun, what's really, really fun is to be on the train, so to speak, of my client's journey, and to really be able to support them in every way and have them work with me instead of want us to do it all, because we can't.
Right. No, you can't. Yeah.
And I have, when I say favorite client, I know I had a reason for mentioning that earlier, and now I can't possibly remember, but I know I have clients that I have difficulty with.
Yeah.
And it's who become prima donnas. And it's like, no, don't become a prima donna with me because I beat you to it.
Yeah. You're already there.
I'm already there. And I thank God I'm not a prima donna about it, because I don't, it's just who I am. But it's like, I love to work with clients who want to take who they are and what they do and bring it out into the world to make a difference. That's the juice.
Yeah.
And I want my company to be the company that is known for that. so that when people say, oh, it's an itty bitty book, let me check it out.
Yeah.
It's like Dummies. Dummies made a phenomenal difference for so many people because
the books the
the yellow and black book cover.
Right.
And they're 350 pages. You have to read with a yellow highlighter. And I always say itty bitty books are the yellow highlights, because if you look at this book, it's an itty bitty book.
Right.
And it's 15 chapters, 2 pages each, so it's a 30-page book. People can grok the idea of reading a 30-page book.
Right.
When you hold a 350-page book, it's like, oh my God.
Job. It's a job.
And then you have to remember where the yellow highlights are that you wanted to remember so that you could remember what you read.
Right. So
it's just fun. And then I have Legacy Press, which is for those people who can't do an itty bitty book or really want to do a full book. I have that company too.
Right.
It's just, I never, ever understood the excitement and the joy of bringing a book out from the back end, because I was always the front end. And then I became, people say, what's your why? I only figured it out last year. My why is I am the force under the wings of my authors to bring them the recognition that they want and deserve.
Yes.
Because I have 50 years experience.
Right. Yes. Beautiful. And what I love about everything you've shared is obviously the podcast is Live Well Long, but our listeners are probably listening from the place of, wow, I could probably do that. I could probably write 2 pages and have it be meaningful and helpful. And I'm good at this. I'm an expert at whatever it is, which is wonderful.
And Alexander, with Live Well Long, I'm going to be 80 this year.
Mm-hmm.
And people kind of look at me as like, you what?
Right.
And Live Well Long is, and thank you for them bringing us full circle, because Live Well Long is really about continuous being passionate about your life.
Yes.
And people say to me, I have a very dear friend who's my age, who lives in Woodstock, New York, and she lives a very quiet life. She lives on her Social Security, and she has a couple of projects every once in a while. So she has a wonderful apartment in a beautiful area. And she said, Suzy, why don't you retire? And I went, what would I do?
Right. This is how I enjoy my life.
I love this.
Right.
I was at the computer this morning at between 9 and 10. Actually, I had a class this morning at 8. And I was watching myself watch this class. Went, this is fun. I haven't done this in a while. But it's so at 8 o'clock this morning, and I have my itty bitty, not my dinner at your place call at 5 o'clock tonight. I'll finish at 6. So that's from 8 until 6.
Right.
I haven't stopped. And it's been wonderful.
Right? It's always something new and exciting to look forward to.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah.
And so living well long is not just being alive. It's being passionate about your life.
Yeah.
Passionate about what you do, who you are. That's, to me, what living well long is.
Yeah.
And finding that spark in what you do. And if you don't have a spark, finding a way to get that spark. I mean, you work with people, you coach people, you can guide people to the place where that spark goes. It's here.
Right.
And then help them access it so that they can live well longer.
Right. Yep.
In a place of happiness.
Right. In a meaningful way.
Yep.
Instead of like sitting with the remote, what's on TV next? Yeah.
I haven't turned my television on probably 20 years.
Yeah.
And
me neither.
yeah, it's just, why bother? And one of my clients sent me a gift. She's an artist. and she sent me this beautiful painting, gorgeous painting. And the friend of mine who was opening the package with me took the painting and put it in front of the television. And my housekeeper came the next week, and she's looking at this painting in front of the television. She's looking at me, she says, "The painting's in front of the television." I said, "Yeah, I know." She said, "Don't you watch television?" And I said, "No, I like looking at the painting. I can look over my monitor.
Inspires me. The TV, not so much.
The painting pleasures me."
Right?
So, yeah.
Yeah, so true, so true. Wow.
It's about being alive in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my doctor, I have a issue right now. I have a new hip, and I'm dealing with some low back stuff. So I'm on pain pills. And I go to the doctor, and I tell him what's going on in my life. Well, I have this exercise person that I'm working with, and I'm doing this, and I'm traveling here, and I'm traveling there, and I can't do this because I have to do that. He looks at me and goes, "You're amazing." He said, "You're an inspiration."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, what am I going to do while I'm alive? I'm going to live."
That's right. Make the most of everything. Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And that's what people need to hear. That's the thing, getting in touch with your why. If people are having trouble with finding their passion, well, what's your why? Like, for me, it's inspiring my children and grandchildren. And then from there, if whatever I give to them, if it sprinkles out into the world and the world as well, then change happens.
And you also make a difference with your clients.
Yes. Yes.
And you make a difference with this podcast.
Yes. Thank you.
You don't think of it because you just do it. It's just who you are.
Oh, I love doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you love doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, I love my author's call on Tuesday nights.
Mhm.
I love the fact that I created dinner at your place on Friday nights.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, because where we were going to go. So I created a Zoom call called Dinner at Your Place. And everybody said, "Well, where is it?" I said, "Your place."
And my place and your place and your
Yeah,
place.
exactly. And we've been meeting every Friday night since mid-March 2020.
Love it. Yeah.
That's almost 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it is 3 years. This is mid-March.
It is. It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was 3 years ago next Wednesday that the world shut down. Wow.
Yeah.
And then what's interesting about the pandemic is how different people experienced it.
Yeah.
For some people, it was devastating.
Right.
It was hard. For me, it opened up the world because of Zoom.
Right.
I wouldn't have met you.
Right. Right.
No.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. And Zoom is now a verb as well as a noun.
Yes. Yes. Where are you zooming in from?
Right. And thank God for Zoom. I wish I had stock in Zoom.
Yeah, right. Zoom is loving the pandemic.
But it's made a difference in the world.
Oh, it absolutely has.
I do have, yeah. I have clients. I have one author who's just about done with her book in Greece.
Oh, nice.
Another one in South Africa. So it's
Yeah,
it's
the world,
allowed.
it has gotten smaller.
Yep.
I mean, I can, be in my house and speak with people from all over the world
Mhm.
on my laptop, which is just phenomenal. It's just an amazing time. And sometimes I'll go out and I say, see a neighbor and say, "Oh, good, I want to see somebody like in the flesh."
Right, right.
We need that too. But this is amazing because this has been so good for the mental stimulation, the creativity, connecting with, other people of like-minded, kindred spirits that are interested in similar things, which is wonderful.
With my Dinner at Your Place call,
Uh-huh.
I thought, and I have another call on Thursdays called Change Your Mind, Change Your Life, which is a more spiritual call. And I decided to do a retreat because I used to do them in person, and I had put that aside. So I told everybody on the call, I'm going to do a retreat. And they, of course, said, this is during the pandemic. Where? I said, your place. So we did it on Saturday morning. I think we did a weekend, like from 10 until 5. And I think I had 8 or 9 people there.
Mhm.
And it was a great retreat. And then I did a class afterwards, and these people kept coming every Friday night. So then last May, I did a retreat in person.
Yeah.
And this is a retreat where you basically remember how special and how truly wonderful you are. It's about self-love.
Self-love.
So it's
Beautiful.
Friday night, and we're all meeting for dinner. And every single person in the retreat,
Right.
like people from Hawaii, people from New York. Excuse me, I don't know how to turn this phone off. So I had from New York City, I had Chicago, I had San Francisco, Phoenix, here, Los Angeles, Hawaii. I think there were 8 of us, 9 of us.
Nice.
We'd all met on Zoom, so there was no barrier.
Right.
was-
Already were friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
we were already friends.
Yes. Very cool.
And it is all about self-love. And when you're talking about living well, long, it's about self-love.
Yeah.
When you love yourself, you take care of yourself.
Right.
You stop beating yourself up, hopefully,
Right.
with the monkey mind.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you stop that monkey mind, you can feel more relaxed within who you are. And loving yourself allows you to live longer and better.
Yep. Yep. Beautiful. Beautiful. This has been so much fun. I've really enjoyed this. Now you have a free gift for folks, right?
I do. And because I'm a hypnotherapist, I created 4 processes
Mhm.
that will help you increase your wealth,
I
and
think
4 processes to write a bestseller. So I gave you my information for how people can download it. Just click on that link,
right.
and we will automatically send it to you. Also, it says that you can have a half hour with me if you ever want it, just to have a conversation to find out how I can support people.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
I love to do that. It's not necessarily a book, but this is what's going on in my life. What do I do? And then I don't know, but we'll talk about it. So once again, it's 4 processes to increase your wealth and 4 processes to write a bestseller. And if you click on the link that Alexandra's going to give you, then you can get that information, and you'll get more information from me. If you don't want it, just unsubscribe. It's easy. Don't want to be in your living room if you don't want me there.
That's cute. Yeah, and folks, I'll put this in the show notes because it's not a simple thing to remember. So I'll put it in the show notes. But it's a wonderful gift. It's a wonderful gift.
Well, Greg Reed, who wrote the book 3 Feet from Gold and who works with the Napoleon Hill, said he listened to my wealth processes, and he said within 1 month I doubled my income. No, I tripled my income.
Beautiful.
Tripled it, because the mind is the creator. So when you shift your mind from where it was, if it wasn't working, to where it is working, then everything else shifts around you.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That is a wonderful gift. I'm sure anyone and everyone will appreciate that. That is wonderful.
And if people want to check out Itty Bitty Publishing, just go to ittybittypublishing.com.
Right.
ITTYBITTY publishing.com. And we've got some pretty great books there.
Yeah.
And I'm always looking for new authors. So if you've got a good idea,
awesome.
talk to me. And know this is important, Alexandra. Not everybody has a book idea that is right for us. And I will tell you, I don't take anybody. I mean, it does cost to write a book. And I don't take your money and publish your book just because I want your money. It's got to have, for my company to work with you, there has to be more than the book. There has to be, you want to do something with the book. You want to make a difference.
Right.
And the book is the door opener.
Mhm.
And then once you get into the room, you can, do all the different things that you want to do.
Right, right. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, this has been awesome. You're lovely to talk with all the time. This has just been wonderful. So thank you so much.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm passionate about what I do, in case you didn't know this.
Yeah, definitely comes across. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's fun, and I think my whole life I've always positioned myself in a place where I could make a difference. And that's what I like to support with others, people, make a difference.
Right.
And it's not about changing the world.
Mhm.
It's not about changing the world. The world is going to do what it does, period.
Mhm.
But what are you going to do in the world the way it is today?
Mhm.
Just make a difference today, regardless of the world.
Right.
Because every single person who is listening to us can make a difference.
Yeah.
And live well long is making a difference with what lights you up.
Yeah.
That's when life is worth living.
Right. Very wise words. Very wise words.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
My pleasure.
After you. No, after you. No, after you.
This has been awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alexandra. It has been.
Thank you for listening. This is Alexandra with Live Well Long. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our important episodes. We want to be sure that you get everything you can to do your best to live well long. Feel free to reach out to me at alex@avhcoaching.com. And remember to take good care of yourself so that you live well long. Talk with you soon. Bye.
Hey, psst, it's Alexandra. One more thing. Would you please share this on Facebook, Twitter, send an email to your friends? Just hit the share link and pick a way to share it. I would love it. Thank you so much. Bye.